In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to cut and sew this stylish bustier 6 pieces flay dress with Godet. So this dress is from 10 by 10 on Instagram. So if you're still having issues on how to make your corset pattern, you can join us on our 5 days corset pattern drafting class, where we'll be teaching you how to draft 5 different types of corset, or our beginner corset cupped corset class. So to join the class, go ahead to send us a message on WhatsApp. So to start, here is my pattern paper, and I've gone ahead to mark out the basic measurement that I need, which is my shoulder to bust, under bust, and my waistline. So after I'm done marking this, the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to mark my shoulder divided by 2. My shoulder is 14 inches divided by 2. I have 7 inches. Now I'll come down by 1 inch, and from this point I'm going to go ahead to place my ruler and I'm going to connect. So after I'm done connecting, I'm going to find my chest line, which is my bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. Whatever I have on that point, I'll go ahead to take it here and I'll mark. Now I'll place my ruler and I'm going to mark a straight line at this point. So after I'm done connecting there, I'm going to go ahead to transfer the measurement I have on my shoulder on my chest line. So after I'm done marking that, I'll place my ruler and I will draw out a straight line. So now I'm going to go ahead to divide my armhole into 2 and I'll mark. Come out by ½ inch. At the chest line, I'll go ahead to mark my bust circumference divided by 4. So from this point now, I'm going to go ahead to connect from here to that ½ inch and all the way to the upper part of my pattern. So after I'm done connecting, I'll go ahead to use my marker to outline to make my pattern more visible. So the next step now is to go ahead to mark my dart. And for my dart, I'll start by marking my nipple to nipple point divided by 2. My nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2. I have 3.5 inches. Now I'll go ahead to mark this and I will be connecting this all the way to the lower part of my pattern. So after I'm done marking this, I'll go ahead to place my ruler and I'll connect, drawing out a straight line. I'll connect this all the way from the upper part to the waist and from the waist down to the full gown length. So I'll be using a dart. My dart will be extending to the lower part. After I'm done marking this, now I'll start marking my dart intake. For my dart intake, I'll be using 1 inch on both sides of my pattern. Now I'll be taking this 1 inch dart intake all the way to the lower part of my pattern. So if you're a bit busty or you're on the bigger size, you can go ahead to use 1.5 inches and you're going to extend this all the way down. So this 1.5 inches you're marking now, you're going to extend it all the way to the lower part of your pattern, just like I'm extending mine to the lower part. Now I'm going to place my ruler and I will go ahead to connect a straight line on both sides of my pattern. So I'll go ahead to extend this all the way to the end of my pattern. After I'm done connecting this, the next step is to place my tape and I'll connect from the bust down to the under bust. Now I will repeat this at the other side of my pattern, and after I'm done marking this, I'll go ahead to go up by 1.5 inches. This is where I want my pattern or my bustier to start. You can use 2 inches or 2.5, especially if you're a bit busty. Now I'll go ahead to extend my dart and I'll mark 1 inch on both sides for my bust tightening at the upper part of my pattern, and I'll also mark this also. So after I'm done marking this, right, I'm going to go ahead to use my marker to outline my pattern, and after I'm done outlining it, I'm going to go ahead to insert my body measurements. So after I'm done outlining this, I'll go ahead to insert my body measurement. I'm going to go ahead to mark my bust circumference divided by 4. And replace the 2 inches dart intake I took out and add my sewing allowance. I'll mark my under bust circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, replace, and I'll go ahead to add my sewing allowance to this pattern. So for your sewing allowance, you can go ahead to use what is okay for you. Now at the waist, I'm going to mark my waist circumference divided by 4. My waist and the under bust is the same. and I'll go ahead to measure this dart intake I have here, and I will replace it, then go ahead to add my sewing allowance. After I'm done doing that, I'm just going to go ahead to connect from the bust down to the under bust and the waist first. Now, after I'm done connecting this, I'm going to find my hip point, which is about 7 inches after my waistline. On that point, I'll mark my hip circumference divided by 4, and I'll add like extra 3 inches to it. So this dress is a flay, and if you notice at the hip area, it is very free. So I don't want it to be tight at any point. So that's why I'm doing that, because there's a probability if I just mark my hip circumference and add extra 6 inches at the lower part, when I'm contouring or drawing it out, that part on my hip might be straight. So I had to go ahead to add that extra 3 inches after my measurement, so that I will know that whatever I will have there is going to be very free. So I'll just go ahead and connect this, and I'm going to go ahead to use my marker to outline my pattern. And after I'm done outlining, the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to cut out my pattern. So for this pattern, the only part that you need more calculation or drafting out is just the front. So from here, I'll just blend out the upper part of my pattern this way. So this is what I have, and I'm just going to go ahead to cut this out first. So at this point, if you haven't yet subscribed, please kindly hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and also leave your comment at the comment section. So after cutting this right, I'm going to go ahead to cut out the back pattern of this dress. So for the back pattern, I went ahead to place another pattern paper, and I marked my zipper allowance of 1.5 inches, which you can use 2 inches. Now, if you notice, I'm placing my front pattern on the pattern paper. Now, I'll be using the front pattern to cut out the back, so that it will reduce any stress of going ahead to calculate or cut out any pattern. And the back will be matching with what I have on the front easily. So now I'll place the bust area against each other, make sure that is overlapping each other this way, because there's no bust at the back pattern of your dress. So I'll just go ahead to pin this down. After that, I'll just go ahead to mark my waist area, because I'll be going in by ½ inch to take out any zipper bulge at that point. And I'll extend this all the way down, and also extend this all the way to the upper part of my pattern. Now, after doing this, I'm going to go ahead to take this up, blend it out this way, and after that, I'll just go ahead to cut this out. After I'm done cutting out, I'm going to go ahead to trace out the remaining part of my pattern. So if you notice, this pattern is easy to cut. So after cutting this right now, we are going to cut the extension we are going to add to the dress. So I'll just go ahead and I will unpin my pattern, and from this point I'll just mark what I have on this point. That is where the first front part of my pattern stops, and I will go ahead to cut it open, right? So now I'll just notch the upper part so that I don't misplace it. So from the waist, I'll measure what I have all the way down, which is about 19 inches, and I'll add extra 1 inch to it, making it 20, which will serve as the folding allowance of the dress. So now I'll just go ahead to mark that 20 inches, and I will go ahead to mark a straight line at that point. So I'll just add extension, extra ½ inch, just in case, and I'll go ahead to cut this out. So after I'm done marking that, I'll just go ahead and mark about 6 inches from this point. So I just want to add like 6 inches extension, but I'll still go ahead to extend it out at the lower part of the pattern. Now what I'm going to do is, from this point now, I'm going to go ahead to draw out a slanted line going all the way to the lower part of my pattern. So what I'll do now is to go ahead to place my tape from the tip, and I'll measure 20 inches. So this 20 inches I'm measuring now, I'll mark it in a away as if I'm marking out my flare dress. So I'll just measure that 20 inches wherever I have it. I'll now extend it this line and then go ahead to connect it. So whatever I have here, I'll be cutting it out on fold. So sorry, when I was cutting this out, I didn't know my camera was a bit blur at this side. So I'll just chop this out, and this is what we'll be adding for the goget or the extension at the middle of each part of the dress, and you cut it on fold.